Did you know that trillions of tiny microorganisms living in your gut could be the key to protecting your kidneys? Research has found that harmful compounds produced by an imbalanced gut microbiome are associated with a 33 to 62% increased risk of cardiovascular events and death in patients with chronic kidney disease. So today, I'm going to share what the science tells us about this critical connection and practical steps you can take both to support your gut and your kidney health. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Hashmi, board certified in both nephrology and obesity medicine. Today, we're exploring a fascinating connection that many people don't know about, how the health of your gut directly impacts the health of your kidneys. If you're living with chronic kidney disease or concerned about kidney health, understanding this gut-kidney axis could be game-changing for your health journey. Have you ever wondered why some kidney patients progress faster than others, even though they're getting similar treatments? Well, it turns out the gut microbiome might be a part of that answer. So in this evidence-based video, I'm going to cover how your gut microbiome influences kidney disease progression. What are the mechanisms behind this connection? What are some practical strategies to improve both your gut and kidney health? And which foods and supplements show the most promise based on research? So let's dive in. What is the gut microbiome? So before we connect to the gut and kidney disease together, let's take a step back. Let's understand what the gut microbiome really is. Your gut microbiome is a complex community of trillions of microorganisms that live inside your digestive tract. You can think of these like an entire ecosystem inside you. There are more microbes than there are stars in our galaxy. Now, these include bacteria, fungi, viruses, and all sorts of other microorganisms. In a healthy person, these microbes, they actually live in harmony. They perform countless functions that help our overall health. They digest food for us. They produce essential vitamins. They protect against harmful pathogens, and they even influence our immune system and metabolism. The microbiome begins forming at birth. In fact, it starts the formation as the baby comes through the vaginal tract, and now data shows that it's also forming in pregnancy. So it turns out that this microbiome, which begins so early, continues to evolve throughout our lives. It's influenced by factors like how we were born, what we eat, medications we take, especially antibiotics, our environment, our stress levels, and our physical activity. What's fascinating is that each of us has a unique microbiome composition, like a fingerprint. Have you ever noticed that some people can eat certain foods without issues while others can't? That's partly due to the differences in gut microbiomes. Very similarly, in some people gaining weight while others don't on the same diet is also one part explained by the gut microbiome. Now, research shows that in chronic kidney disease, this delicate balance of gut microbiome is disrupted in very specific ways. So let's dive in now and let's explore how your gut microbiome and kidneys communicate with each other. When you have healthy kidneys, they efficiently filter waste products from your blood, including those produced by gut bacteria. But in chronic kidney disease, this filtering system doesn't work as well. Think of it in this analogy. Your gut is like a factory that produces both helpful products and waste byproducts. Now, your kidneys are like the waste management system for this factory. So when the kidneys start to fail, the waste management system backs up, affecting how the factory operates. This is a vicious cycle that gets generated. And so when kidney function declines, waste products build up in the bloodstream. These waste products then alter the gut environment. Now, this causes an imbalance in gut bacteria. It's called dysbiosis, which simply means an unhealthy mix of microorganisms in your gut. And so you have this altered gut bacteria, which then go on to produce more harmful compounds. And then these harmful compounds, they further damage the kidney. And as you can see, this circular cycle, it continues and does more and more damage. The scientific term for this relationship between your gut and your kidneys is the gut-kidney axis. It describes this bidirectional communication where chronic kidney disease alters the gut microbiome composition, and in turn, the gut dysbiosis influences the progression of chronic kidney disease through inflammation, endocrine, and neurologic pathways. Now, question for you guys. Has your doctor ever discussed your gut health as part of your kidney care? For many patients, this is the first time you may be hearing about this. But if you've already had these discussions, what was your experience like? What did you hear? What action items were you told to start doing? So, what happens in gut dysbiosis? Let's take a look more closely at what changes in the gut when you have chronic kidney disease. Studies show that as chronic kidney disease progresses, there's a notable reduction in gut microbiome diversity. Research from Vaziri and colleagues showed that people with advanced kidney disease have up to a 50% reduction in beneficial bacteria, and these names of these bacteria are so hard to pronounce. But this first one is Faecalibacterium prosnitzi. And if you can say that better than I can, more power to you. But it turns out this bacteria gets reduced by as much as 50% in CKD versus those who have normal, healthy kidney function. And these beneficial bacteria, they actually help to maintain your gut health, and they have lots of very powerful anti-inflammatory properties. At the same time, there's also an increase in bacteria that produce harmful compounds. And so those harmful compounds then lead to all sorts of issues. And there are three major problems as the shift from healthy to unhealthy bacteria occurs. First, your gut starts to produce more uremic toxins. Now, these are harmful compounds. They'll accumulate when kidneys can't filter them properly. Two of the important ones are indoxyl sulfate and precressyl sulfate. These toxins are created when certain gut bacteria, they break down protein, particularly from animal sources. In healthy individuals, the kidneys would filter these toxins out, but in chronic kidney disease, they accumulate. And as they accumulate, they end up causing even further kidney damage. What's truly concerning is that research from Lin and colleagues showed that higher blood levels of these two gut-derived toxins are independently associated with a 33 to 62% higher risk of cardiovascular events and death in patients with chronic kidney disease. Second is the gut bacteria. As it gets more unhealthy bacteria forming, the gut barrier becomes more permeable, something that people call a leaky gut. Now, this leaky gut allows bacterial toxins to start to enter your bloodstream more easily, which then starts to trigger inflammation throughout the body. I often try to explain this to my patients like this. Imagine your gut lining is like a fine mesh screen that normally keeps harmful substances contained within the inside of the gut while letting nutrients be able to enter our body. In chronic kidney disease, though, there are holes that develop in the screen, and that allows toxins to leak into your bloodstream and travel to your kidneys, your heart, your brain, your lungs, everywhere. Now, here's another question to consider. Have any of you noticed more digestive issues as your kidney function has declined? Now, understanding this gut-kidney connection is important because it may hold a key to explaining why that occurs. The good news, though, is there's all this research that shows we can intervene in this process through targeted approaches to gut health. All right, let's dive into dietary strategies for gut health and chronic kidney disease. So, what can you actually do to improve your gut microbiome if you have kidney disease? Let's start with the most important part of sleep, exercise, love, food, is start with food, the most powerful tool for your gut. When you start to look at the National Kidney Foundation Kidney Disease Outcomes Quality Initiative, that's a mouthful, or KDIGO. KDIGO talk about eating more whole food, plant-based diets. And so we know that the data around that for CKD patients is so powerful. Why do these plant-based diets help? Well, it turns out animal proteins contain more of certain amino acids like tryptophan and tyrosine, which then gut bacteria convert into harmful uremic toxins. Plant proteins, on the other hand, they have fewer of these precursor amino acids. And plant proteins, of course, are rich in fiber, and the fiber feeds beneficial bacteria and helps to maintain that healthy gut barrier. So let's highlight specific foods that research has shown can be really beneficial. First off, berries, whether it's blueberries, cranberries, raspberries, strawberries. These all are rich in polyphenols, and they positively affect gut bacteria. Studies actually show that consuming berries can increase your beneficial gut bacteria and strengthen your intestinal barrier. Now, question for you guys. What is your favorite way to add berries into your meals? I try to add them for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and that makes it much easier for me. But what do you do? Now, second, high fiber foods. Fiber is like a fuel for beneficial bacteria in your gut. Good sources are whole grains like oats, barleys, fruits with edible peels, vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, legumes like lentils and chickpeas. Now, this is important, so there is a caution. If you have advanced kidney disease, you have to be cautious with high potassium foods. This is where working with your nephrologist and your team checking your blood tests regularly becomes incredibly valuable, because we want to help you balance gut-friendly foods with other dietary needs that are specific to your kidney function by checking your blood tests. Number 3 is prebiotic-rich foods. Prebiotics are compounds that feed beneficial gut bacteria. Think of them like fertilizer for your good gut microbes. Natural sources of prebiotics that are really good for you are things like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, and bananas. Remember, garlic has so many interesting properties, including aged garlic, which does things very different than regular garlic does. Again, some of these you may have to limit depending on what your specific kidney function and your potassium is. At the same time that we're talking about what you should eat, I should also point out what you avoid also matters. The KDIGO guidelines advise reducing intakes of ultra-processed foods. These are foods that are loaded with salt, with sugar, with unhealthy fats, because they promote inflammation and they negatively impact your gut health. So remember, the goal here is to create an environment that in your gut favors beneficial bacteria while it reduces those that produce harmful toxins. So, listening to all of this, what is one change that you could make to your diet this week to support your gut? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's go into supplements, because everybody wants to know, can I just pop a pill instead of eating better? So the answer is no, but it turns out there are supplements that can be very helpful in addition to a healthy diet. So beyond diet, research is showing promising results for specific supplements. Prebiotics. So prebiotics have shown significant benefits in clinical studies. For example, inulin supplementation, and the study was about 19 grams daily, combined with a low protein diet, has been shown to reduce inflammation markers and improve gut bacteria composition in CKD patients. Another study showed that oligofructose-enriched inulin reduced levels of uremic toxins like P-cresyl sulfate and also decreased markers of inflammation. Probiotics. Probiotics are living beneficial bacteria that can help to restore the gut balance. Think of them as directly adding the good microbes to your gut. Research has found that specific strains like Lactobacillus casei, Zang, have shown potential benefits in slowing chronic kidney disease progression by reducing inflammation. In a 1-year study of people with stages 3 to 5 chronic kidney disease, this probiotic, Lactobacillus casei Zang, was well tolerated and appeared to slow the decline in kidney function. Perhaps the most impressive results come from synbiotics. What's synbiotics? It's just prebiotics and probiotics together. It's all these fancy words, so just don't make it complicated. But the idea there is that you're basically putting the good bacteria and the food for the good bacteria together in one supplement. So a study by Rossi and colleagues found that just 12 weeks of supplementations, CKD patients who took a symbiotic supplement saw 30% reduction in indoxyl sulfate, significant improvements in their gut barrier function, and better overall microbiome composition. Now, I have to emphasize this strongly. There are all sorts of products on the market. Not all prebiotics, probiotics, or symbiotics are created equal. The specific strains, dosages, and quality matter tremendously. And what works for one person may not work for another. Never start any supplement regimen because you heard it on the internet by anybody. Always talk with your nephrologist, your kidney specialist first. This is especially critical for patients who have advanced kidney disease. Some supplements can interact with medications or even worsen kidney function in certain conditions. Beyond diet and supplements, regular physical activity has been shown to positively influence gut microbiome by increasing microbial diversity. Even moderate exercise like walking improves your gut health. So, what kind of exercise do you do when dealing with kidney disease? And don't forget, beyond physical activity, sleep is critical. We've talked about the most important part of sleep is consistent schedule, and then the amount. Both of them matter, and they affect inflammatory markers and they affect gut health. Don't forget love or social connection, gratitude, trying to meditate, yoga. It makes such a difference. And then finally, managing constipation is crucial for chronic kidney disease patients. Constipation can lead to the retention of uremic toxins, worsening kidney problems. Strategies include increasing dietary fiber to reduce constipation, staying well hydrated as long as you're within your fluid restrictions, using laxatives, but don't use them every day because your body will adjust to it. So let's put all of this together in practical steps you can start taking today. 1. Gradually increase your plant-based foods in your diet. Focus on variety and color. Even adding one additional serving of vegetables daily has a positive step. 2. Include berries in your diet if your potassium levels will allow. Frozen berries are just as nutritious as regular ones, and they tend to be more affordable because you can freeze them. 3, add prebiotic-rich foods like garlic and onions to your cooking when possible. 4, reduced ultra-processed foods, especially those high in phosphate additives, which are particularly problematic for kidney patients. 5, stay physically active with whatever exercise you can manage. Even gentle movement helps your gut microbiome. 6, talk to your kidney doctor about whether prebiotic or probiotic or both may be appropriate for your specific condition. Listen, I know people like to look for quick answers, but don't start anything before talking to your doctor because you have that doctor-patient relationship with that individual. 7, stay regular. Address constipation through diet, hydration, exercise, or medications if needed. And last one is this: try to work with a whole team. Work with your kidney doctor, work with a dietitian, so that you have a personalized plan that includes eating, exercising, supplements if needed. You want to make sure that you have a team working with you. So, what I would love to hear from you guys is, have you tried any of these approaches lately? What's been your experience? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, these changes don't need to happen overnight. Small, consistent steps towards better gut health can make a meaningful difference in your kidney function over time. So we have covered so much today about the powerful connection between your gut and kidney health. The research in this area is rapidly changing, but the evidence clearly shows that supporting gut health can benefit kidney function. What I find most encouraging about the approach that I've outlined for you today is that it gives you another lever that you can pull in managing your kidney disease, something practical that you can influence through daily choices. The message here is hope. And let me emphasize one final time that while the research on gut health and kidney disease is promising, please work with your healthcare team before making changes or adding supplements to your regimen. Once again, what works for one person may not work for another, and your specific kidney condition, your specific medications, and your specific health factors all need to be considered. Lastly, if you found this information valuable, please, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on evidence-based approaches to kidney health, to general health and wellness, to longevity. And if you learned something new in this video, please let me know in the comments below. As always, this information in this video is educational. It's to be discussed with your doctor before making changes to your treatment plan. And before we end, I always say this: always remember the power of kindness, both to yourself as you navigate health challenges and to others who may be going through their own struggles. A little compassion goes a long way, and practicing kindness can even benefit your own health by reducing your stress levels. With that, I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for the work that I'm doing here. And thank you for taking one small step to improving your own health. With that, I will see everybody next time.